Welcome back to the final whistle then for another stream, and Top takes a stand. Top has had a meeting with the players. He also leads the managerial vacancy charge then as Leicester City look for a new manager also. And yeah, it's been very interesting regarding Leicester City these last few days with the sacking of Steve Cooper, and now John Percy comes out with all of this as well regarding his article. I'm going to be joined by Locks from Blue Tinted Glasses. He's going to join me to talk about the article, go for everything. Ruud van Nistelrooy is the man in the frame, as David Moyes, Graham Potter and Carlos Corberán are out of the running, so it looks like it leaves one man for the job. Let me know your thoughts on Ruud van Nistelrooy when it happens. But yeah, get involved. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't subscribed already. Please get down and do so. It'll help me out massively. A lot to discuss. And yeah, you guys get involved as well. Leave your comments. If you've got any questions, then leave them in the comment box. We'll get as many done as possible. Hello, Renee. How are you? Hey, Ruud. I mean, we could change the Hey Jude song if you want. Be rude not to. Can't wait for Ruud to come to Leicester. Hi, Jack. Let's hope the Leicester City owner, Aiywatt, Srivaddhanaprabha Park, can pick a good manager to keep us in the Premier League. Do you know what? Top is getting right into it now, isn't he? He's the one who wants to lead the manager job after not being very keen on Steve Cooper from the beginning. So it's going to be interesting now to see what happens. Hope you're well, Jack. Top gave the squad a, yeah, we can use the, it begins with B and ends with G. It is Moyes in East Midland. Yeah, I won't believe none of that. John Percy's come out of it. Moyes is not happening. So, yeah, don't always believe what you read. But let's get a good friend of the channel in. Locks from Blue Tinted Glasses. Locks, how are you?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Terry, how are you, mate? Locks, let everybody know where they can find you, mate, if they don't know who you are already.
Yeah, man. Blue Tinted Glasses. Hold on a sec. I've got some Here we go. Blue Tinted Glasses, mate. Yeah, kind of new, not really new anymore, but yeah, new channel, obviously. Lots of stuff, daily content, daily lives, daily news, daily tactics, all that stuff. So yeah, cheers, mate.
Fantastic. Ruud, yeah. How are you, my friend Locks? Who does not know Locks? Well, everyone will know who Locks is around the Leicester fan base, I'm sure. Yes, I can be happy with Ruud, says John. Before we get on to Ruud, we're going to share my screen because there's a specific article I want to talk about. John Percy come out with this about 5:15 time. So let me share my screen. Is it shared, Locks?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Right. Leicester City owner confronts players over disrespectful Christmas party video and also player performances. Let's revert back to Steve Cooper's sacking. Top is believed to not have been keen from the beginning over Steve Cooper. What was your thoughts on that? I mean, surely as an owner, if you're not keen on a manager, surely you don't allow the director of football to appoint them.
Well, you're right, mate. You're right. I'm surprised Rudkin is still in a job. I thought maybe this might be the last straw, but Top wasn't keen on Cooper, and yeah, you're right. That is on Top basically for kind of giving it the signing it off, giving it the go ahead. So he, the buck stops with him. He's the top guy, so he needs to take responsibility for that. Not everybody else below him. We're led to believe, and Percy's confirmed this today, that the decision to sack him was purely on top. It was his decision. As far as I'm concerned, from what I've heard from other journalists, the Chelsea game was not the sole reason that he was sacked. The result, it was a bit of player revolting as well. I think there was more than one or two senior players that did have words with Top, and I think I know who that was. But yeah,
massive Saturday. Club clearly not learnt the lesson. Just get someone in. The thing is, with the new manager, obviously they've sacked Steve Cooper. Obviously, we are looking to get a manager in quite quickly now. But, you know, when Cooper got sacked on that Sunday, obviously it come as a surprise with the timing. People would have expected it to happen during the international break, which would probably been more better. But they left it to the Chelsea game. He loses, and then they don't have a replacement.
I don't buy it. I think they knew all along who it's going to be, Jack.
Yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy's name has been mentioned before Steve Cooper even got the sack in it. Obviously, Potter's name got mentioned, David Moyes in different reports, because they even said they'd back Cooper till January, didn't they, to bring in these players and that. There was plans, and yeah, I just think, you know, Top's been keeping an eye for quite a few weeks, hasn't he, regarding the whole situation.
All I'll say, Jack, is I think he kept a very, very fine eye on the situation at Manchester United. That's what I believe, mate.
Yeah, maybe he tapped him up after after he left Man United. Who knows? But we're not gonna discuss speculation. Ruud van Nistelrooy has got no experience in the Prem for me. Just a backward step. How do you sort of talk about that type of comment? Obviously, he did do an interim job at Man United. Obviously, beat Leicester twice. At PSV, he managed for 50 games, I think it was. Won 34 of them. Lost 8, drawn 8 in the first team. Obviously, he's done the under-21s and that level as well, hasn't he? It works out to be about 150-odd games. Took charge in his whole career in football, including the youth. So talk to me about the comment from Everyday Games.
I refuse in any way, shape or form to consider that it's a backward step. I don't think it is in the slightest, mate. No. Look, people think that the players want Enzo Ball. I don't even think it's that, Jack. Yeah. I think they want a tactician and they want a philosophy to work towards. And Ruud van Nistelrooy will bring that. Steve Cooper didn't have that. Steve Cooper's a very hands-off coach, which is very, very different to what they had last season under Enzo. They want an Enzo type of manager. And in terms of the person and the tactician, not the system. We're not... I said this in a group chat earlier, Jack. We're not twerking for Enzo Ball. We're twerking for a philosophy, for a tactician to come in. And I think that's what Van Nistelrooy will bring. He'll command respect. He's got name in the game. Every single one of them players, bar maybe a couple of the younger ones, will know exactly who he is and what he's done. And he's won everything at the top level. And mate, think about this. A lot of ex-players that become managers, sometimes they have shortcuts, right? So Lampard and Gerrard, they had shortcuts. Ruud van Nistelrooy has not taken any shortcuts. He went to PSV and he managed and coached their youth teams, and then he got his chance as the first team manager. He did quite well. He quit because he didn't basically get what he wanted, which could prove a problem later down the line, Jack, if he has got that in him. So he's deserved this step up, I believe, and I think he'll bring it.
No, I agree. You know, he brings that real vying experience, you know, from PSV, and that obviously he did win 2 trophies in his first season. He got the best out of that squad, you know, and he's the type of the football that he plays is you'd say kind of what the players are craving for. Obviously, Steve Cooper played a different brand of football. Obviously, Enzo played a different brand of football, but then the Enzo style of football was the ones that the players was really happy with, that they could get on board with and felt confident in themselves to really produce the goods with it. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy would revert that as well, bringing the best out of the players again and really bringing that feel good factor back Locks for me.
That's it, mate. That's it. I think I've spoken to some Man United fans, and Dan, who is on the Football's 12th Man, I spoke with him, and he told me a bit about Ruud van Nistelrooy. He said that, as I said, he'll command respect. He does have a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of discipline in him. He can do that. But he'll also give the players a bit of freedom as well. And yeah, I just think in general it's a really, really smart move. I think it's, look, mate, we've heard of Rodkin leading recruitments in the past. I mean, I think Rodkin has led the last few. Top, though, as far as I'm aware, from what I've heard, Rodgers, that was all on top, and that proved an okay signing, didn't it? So yeah, I think we've just got to trust. And I know it's hard, mate, by the way, because I'm the first person to criticize the board, but I'm really kind of encouraged by Top and how he seems to be, I don't know, maybe something clicking in his head, because he started to get criticism, for the last year or so. It's been started to point to him, the criticism, because he keeps letting these things happen. And now he looks like he's taking the bull by the horns and he's going to lead this. And I think it's a good move.
Yeah, he's now starting to take control and put the mistakes right.
100%.
What is Potter holding out for? I mean, he's still sitting on that money what Chelsea are paying him. I mean, I don't think I know he always says, Potter, about wanting to get back into football, but maybe that's just for the cameras, in it. And, he's happy enough with what Chelsea are paying him. Did Enzo have experience? Give Ruud a chance if he becomes the manager. Enzo always had that philosophy under Pep, didn't he? He learnt from the best. I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy's been around the game, hasn't he? He would have learnt from the managers that he's worked under. I think Goose Hiddink were one of them that he'd worked under as well, I believe. Obviously, he's worked under Ten Hag at Man United, who did very well at Ajax, never really worked out at Man U. Mick, how are you, mate? Hope you're good. Let's have a look at the other parts of the report. So, Leicester owners launched an angry broadside at the club's players in a summit meeting earlier this week. Srivaddhanaprabha, known as the club's top, confronted the players over the dismissal of head coach Steve Cooper and the fallout from the Christmas party in Copenhagen. In the meeting at the training ground on Tuesday, Leicester's chairman accused the players of letting down Cooper, who was sacked on Sunday after just 12 Premier League games in charge. Do you feel that everything was down to Cooper, Locks? Do you think the players were not giving it enough as well? Do you think you could see both sides of it?
Yes. Yeah. I think Cooper ultimately is the guy that is always going to get blamed, and he's the one who's always going to lose his job, right? Because you can't sack 11 players, you sack the manager, right? That's just how it works, unfortunately. But we know already, mate. I mean, the reports all week have been that some of the players weren't happy. Vestergaard, for example, had a confrontation with him. The players clearly didn't get fully on board with him, and the players need to take a part of that. You know what I mean? They were clearly hung up on their ex-boyfriend Enzo, like a lot of us fans are as well, and that's what's happened. And they haven't got on board with Cooper, so that's on them. In-game management, all on Cooper. Setting us up, all on Cooper, but the players also need to take accountability as well. And it looks like Top is making them do that. Again, the party situation, you'll get onto it, but that's also, I mean, just bad timing. But they need to be more aware.
Yeah, it looks worse with the situation what happening with Cooper on Sunday.
Exactly.
Felt like the players were partly capable of producing a number of poor performances since promotion back to the top division. It's understood the owner was bitterly disappointed with the footage of the players in Copenhagen hours after the 2-1 defeat to Chelsea. Video went viral of Leicester's players partying in a nightclub with a sign also visible with the words, "Enzo, I miss you," which appeared to be clear reference to Cooper's predecessor, Enzo Maresca. The Christmas party had been sanctioned by Leicester and Cooper before the weekend, and Copenhagen is the regular destination for the squad. Talk to me about that. Obviously, the video came out, didn't it, Locks, regarding that one. Talk to me about the Enzo sign and that. Obviously, it looked like a bit of miscommunication, didn't it, between of what Steve Cooper got sacked on the Sunday. That happened on the Saturday, but it's a bit, I think you've got to be more better than that, haven't you? To know the cameras are going to be around, people are going to take photos and that. So I think on their side, they've got to be better in them sort of times, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, when it first came out, people were acting like, and I mean, I used it as well, to be fair, for clickbait. But people acted like they were celebrating Cooper's sacking, which wasn't the case. This was a Christmas party that has been planned for a long time. Interesting to see Richie, by the way.
I agree, Rich. I agree. Like me and Locks have just said, we didn't agree with, obviously, the backward step comment, did we, Locks, when obviously...
No.
About it.
It's interesting to see Richie, actually, Jack, because this is the first time I've seen Richie. I remember him... getting a bit not arsey with me, but I was getting into a bit of a debate in my comment section about Cooper in, Cooper out. So it's good to see you, Richie. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Richie. Yeah, it was bad timing, Jack. The party, it was bad timing.
Yeah, countless incredible managers in the Prem that have no Premier League experience for. Just an example, Enzo. This is it. Enzo never had club football experience, did he, to manage on his own. It was his first job, Leicester, and obviously worked wonders with the squad in the Championship, Ruud van Nistelrooy is a massive gamble. The thing is, some people would have said the same about Carlos Corberán. Obviously, he's never managed in the Premier League. If you took the gamble on him to bring him in from West Brom, considering he's never managed in the Premier League before, then you could have said the same thing about Corberán, couldn't you, Locks?
Absolutely, mate. Some of these managers, they just need a break. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I was talking about earlier, Jack, about some managers, ex-players get shortcuts, and some of them do the hard yards. Corberán's done excellent, by the way, to stay in and around the playoffs with such, little investment. I mean, they spent 4 million this year. Look at the teams around them or above them, Jack. The teams above West Brom this season. Leeds, Burnley, Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough. They've all spent much more money than West Brom, and West Brom are there or thereabouts. So they've not had the best seasons, but they're there or thereabouts, and I think that's credit to Corberán.
Yep. So let's have a look before we go on to the manager hunt. However, Srivaddhanaprabha told the players the scenes on the video were untimely and did not present a positive image for Leicester as a family club, which is a huge source of pride for his late father, Vishai. The confrontation is believed to have been measured with the players all sitting in silence as the owner spoke to them. Senior players are also understood to have accepted the remarks. See, this shows real control now, isn't it? That Top's actually put his foot down and said, the performances have not been acceptable this season. You probably should have gave Steve a bit more respect than you did. Obviously, he's there to as the manager. He's obviously not Enzo. We took a bloody 360. We bloody should have gone for an Enzo type of manager, but we didn't. We ended up with Cooper. But the thing is, you can't always pick your bosses, can you, Locks, in life? You've got to just get on with the job in hand, innit? What you obviously paid to do.
That's it, mate. And to be fair, I don't think the players completely gave up. I think there was fight there to a certain extent. I mean, we had comebacks, but you've got to think though, Jack. I mean, remember the Southampton game? We were 2-0 down, and the second half we were exceptional. And the second half, it was when we went back to Enzo ball, if you remember. So Sean, I haven't seen Sean in years. Hi, Sean, mate. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. I think the players weren't fully kind of outing him, but by the end of the Chelsea game, and I think the fact that Enzo he conquered the King Power Stadium against them players, I think that probably sent them over the edge a little bit. But hey, Jack, do you reckon Winks faked his injury to get off? What if he's in the team this weekend? What if he's in the team, mate?
I mean, some people said he looked fine in that nightclub.
Exactly.
No comment on it at all. Imagine if Vardy says to Ruud about beating the record. I think that's the first conversation them pair are going to have if Ruud is the man to take Leicester on. You know, that record that Rude held for a very number of years with a 10 in 10, and then the man that's still at Leicester City goes and breaks it. I think that's the first conversation them two would have about the record situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Neil said the other day, mate, imagine you've got Rude who got 10, Vardy who got 11, so Daka is going to get 21.
If Daka gets 12 in 12.
Or 12. Yeah, 12, yeah.
Who's going to be our assistant manager? Probably Ten Hag. I mean, Ten Hag was the manager and Ruud van Nistelrooy were the assistant. I don't see that happening, to be fair. I think there's a number of very good players, aren't they? Professionals who have retired, that have gone into coaching now, aren't they? Who are available. Maybe he brings them types of players to the club. I mean, you've seen it at a number of clubs. Let's have a look at the manager hunt. John Percy, I think he gave an inkling on it, to be fair. Not so much in words, but I think you can read in between the lines with this. New manager hunt, Leicester's last season championship title winners are 1 point above the relegation zone and searching for a new manager. I believe, Locks, as soon as this new manager's come in, I believe it's the 9th manager Jamie Vardy's had at Leicester.
Really? Well, let's do the maths. Pearson, Ranieri, Shakespeare, Puel, Rodgers. Oh, Appleton.
He were into him, wasn't he? Where he just had one game, and then there were, who else was there?
Smith, Enzo, Cooper,
Dean Smith.
So yeah. So if you class Appleton, it's 10. but if you class Appleton, it's 10. But no, 9. You're right, mate. 9, the 9th permanent manager. You're right. That's right. You are.
In the meeting, it was also relayed to the players that the next appointment will be a free agent and no compensation will be paid to secure the new man. That rules out West Brom's highly regarded Carlos Corberán, who would cost more than £3 million prize away from the Hawthorns. I mean, Carlos Corberán did say in his post-match yesterday about the Leicester job that he didn't know that the manager had been sacked. He did say that the speculation was out of his control regarding being linked with other jobs and that, but he said he's still happy enough to do the project that he set out at West Brom. I think that shows respect to the club and their fans as well, doesn't it?
This ain't the first time, Jack. It ain't the first time. He turned down Leeds when they sacked Bielsa, right? Corberán turned them down. Whether, with us, whether he turned us down or we just agreed that it wasn't, whatever. So he's shown faith to them, mate, and fair play to the guy. I mean, he went over to Olympia. He did okay. Yeah. He did okay at Huddersfield. He got into a playoff final, which he lost against Cooper. He went to Olympiacos, didn't do so good there. He's come back to West Brom and he's done really well, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Ray says about, not sure are we about Ruud van Nistelrooy. We're not going to have these interim matches which cost us dearly after Brendan got the sack.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, you know me, Jack, I'm sure that it's RVN. But, of course, there is a risk that even if it is Ruud van Nistelrooy, it might take a bit longer. And if that's the case, then, we have an interim manager for Brentford and we might have an interim manager for West Ham. Who knows? I think it'll be done very soon. I think it could be done tonight. I think we could hear an announcement tonight.
They did say they wanted someone by the end of the week, didn't they?
They did. So I think it could be tonight or tomorrow. That would be my guess, tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. Former Chelsea manager Graham Potter and ex-West Ham manager David Moyes has been ruled out the Leicester job as potential contenders. I mean, when Cooper got the sack, were they the two managers that you wanted at Leicester?
Which two?
Potter and Moyes.
Were they?
Who did you have in mind?
I had 3. Potter, Ruud, and Corberán. They were my 3.
Interesting. Obviously, Corberán was linked with Leicester in the summer, wasn't he? After Enzo got the sack, I mean, Leicester would have been paying £4 million, but it's good to see that Top's actually took full control on this manager situation, isn't it? That he's the man who's going to be taking control and picking the right man. And the thing is, with this next appointment, Locks, they can't afford to make mistakes, can they? They've got to get it 100% spot on.
That's right, mate. And I think it's smart. And I think it's a smart move because let's be honest, mate, if it did go wrong, everyone would blame Mr. Rodkin, right? We'd all be saying Rodkin out, Rodkin out, Rodkin out. But this time we know Top has come out, that Top has said, you know, he's leading it. Top is leading the recruitment. And if that's the case, then it means it's not on Rodkin if it goes wrong. It's on Top. It's on Top. So I think it's a smart, brave decision to run it himself. He knows what he wants for the club. He wants an expansive, he wants a progressive style of football, and he always has since he appointed Puel with the possession style of football. So that's what he wants, and it looks like that's what he's going to get. We'll have to wait and see.
Armchair Jockey says if Top is talking to the players, surely it's done and he's been introduced. You don't know what would have been said regarding the meeting, but
don't listen to Jack.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate.
Jack's doing the smart thing, by the way. Jack's doing the smart thing, and he's protecting his reputation, whereas I'm slightly more reckless. So
I've done some digging on Rude and watched your video on him, and I have to say I'm impressed with his system. I've slightly changed my mind on him. If we had an interim, it would have to be Mark Robins or Nigel Pearson. Let him have a game or two before it takes it. The thing is with Nigel Pearson, you don't want to turn it out to be this bloody Star Wars trilogy thing, do you? You know, and obviously the third one is the return of Pearson, if that's what you want to title it as. And you know, Mark Robins. I mean, would you have taught someone like Mark Robins? Honestly,
absolutely not. No. Why on earth would we take the guy who's just been sacked by Coventry?
I'm not sitting on the fence with anything. I'm just keeping my cards to my chest like I do.
Jack's got splinters on his ass. You got splinters up your ass, Jack.
Are you fair enough to get your head in the sand? I don't think so, mate. I can hardly reach my toes, let alone bloody get my head in the sand.
I'll tell you what, I'll ask you instead, Jack. Are you an ostrich? Are you an ostrich?
I'm not long enough, Nick, but let's get on to the next part. This man, Ruud van Nistelrooy. John Percy says Ruud, the former Manchester United striker, is in the frame. The 48-year-old recently took over at Man United for 4 matches as interim following the sacking of Erik ten Hag. In that brief period, he guided United to 2 victories over Leicester, first in the Carabao Cup and then the Premier League. I just love how John Percy has to add that part on, with him obviously beating Leicester. But now, talk to me about Ruud. What do you think he'd bring to Leicester City?
Well, as I said at the start, I mean, personally, as in the person, he will bring a bit of calmness. I think he'll be a lot more hands-on than he was with Cooper. Than Cooper was, and he will have a bit of discipline, I'm sure, which is what the players need. I think, you know, Cooper, it feels like they've been just left to do what they want really under Cooper, which isn't a good sign. They need to kind of go back to more of what the situation was like under Enzo. And I mean, mate, we've seen it with Enzo at Chelsea, how he basically said, if you don't fit in my system or if you don't like my system, you're not going to play for us. And I think that's probably the best thing to do. In terms of tactically, you know, I think he'll shore up our defense a little bit, but I think the main thing is we will see a progressive style of play. I think we will see us try to dictate the ball, but more importantly, we will try and get forward quickly. We might see the return of the 2 8s or this time 2 10s. Who that will be, I'm not sure. And we may even see a fullback inverted, Jack. We might even see a fullback inverted. Ricardo's obviously injured. Could that be Christensen from the left? Could it be JJ from the right? Could it be Hamza Chowdhury from the right? Who knows? But I think overall, mate, I think it's a really smart appointment. I really do. And I think, you know, I think he will keep us up. I'm pretty sure he will.
Yeah, 4 big games to come. Richard does say, I think it's the best to move on from talking about Steve Cooper. Yeah, I think that's behind us now, Rich. Hope not bring some defenders would help. Do we know who else go at Man United when the new bloke took over? Who else went? I'm not sure. I really am not sure.
Yeah, because could he bring anyone? Could he bring anyone from United?
I hope we get Tom Cannon back and Suter. I mean, what's your thoughts on Tom Cannon? I know quite a lot of Leicester fans would happily have him back in January because, let's just say we need some more firepower up front. Do you think that's where we look at it, or do you think we'd bring in another striker?
I think we should bring him back. I do. I get what some people think. Oh, it was only the Championship, and he didn't do great last season. Even though I think he did quite well with the limited game time he had. I think he's good enough. I think he's a really good finisher. Stoke fans are raving about him. They want him. They want to sign him permanently. Interestingly, Jack, back in the Europa League days, I actually met someone on YouTube called. I can't remember his name actually, but he's a coach, Jack, a coach at Is it Slavia or Sparta Prague that we played in the Europa League?
I think it was Slavia Prague.
Slavia might have been Slavia. We played Slavia Prague, and I got this guy on who's a coach at Slavia Prague, but he's a massive Stoke fan, and he knows his football, mate. Jonathan Davis, I think his name is, and he's a coach at Prague, and he's a Stoke fan, and he's been speaking so highly of Tom Cannon. It's not just the goals, but it's just everything, mate. Everything is. He looks really, really good over there. So I think he's a shoot on sight type of striker. I think he will bring something that we don't currently have. Obviously, we've got Vardy, who is, he doesn't mind waiting around and being patient these days for a chance, and that's what he does best now. But Tom Cannon, I think, is a must to bring back. So
I agree. Locks, that is it. Thanks for coming on. Do appreciate it. What's that last one? Coaches that left Man United. Assistant was Rennie Hake. Okay. Right. Okay, that's fine. Cannon as I've got Faroud, potentially. We'll see. We'll see what happens then, Locks, regarding Leicester appointing a new manager. Will it be tonight? Will it be tomorrow? Will it be Friday? Who knows? We'll see. Just wait for the club now, confirm it, and let's see what happens. But thanks for coming on. Before I let you go, plug your channel for me and let everybody know what's coming up on the blue tinted glasses.
Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, I've got you now, mate. Sorry.
Tell them what's coming up on the blue tinted glasses and where they can find you.
Yeah, man. As I said at the start, there you go, Jack.
Yeah,
as I said at the start, loads of content. We've got Fox's Den coming up in 9 minutes. So lots of stuff, and I mean, as you know, Jack, obviously, whenever there's news, we'll bring it, just like you, mate. So,
appreciate it. Cheers, Lux.
Cheers, mate. Thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
That was Lux from Blue Tinted Glasses. A very good guest. Guys, if you've enjoyed this stream this evening, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already and you're new. Then please get down and subscribe. It would help me out massively. We're on the road to 4K, so if you can do that. If you're watching on playback, let me know your thoughts on what we've discussed, and potentially Ruud van Nistelrooy. Let's see what happens on that one. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll have a match preview on the channel tomorrow regarding Brentford, Ealing Road podcast, which is a Brentford podcast. Be joining me live for that, and match day vlog will be out for Brentford as well on Saturday. And if there's any news regarding a new manager, we will bring it to you here live on the Final Whistle. But thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your evening and keep it at the Final Whistle. Good night. Hi all. Thank you for watching the Final Whistle. If you enjoy all our content, please remember to smash a like, share and subscribe to the channel.